Good afternoon, Captain Spra, all panelists, moderator, and all participants of this webinar. My name is Kawasaki from MLIT, Japan. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to make a presentation today. I am in charge of how to preserve the environment of ports from the perspective of port management. Today, I would like to introduce the environmental policy of ports in Japan, which is related to the subtitle of the webinar, Greener. Next, please. Firstly, I would like to introduce the impact of COVID-19 pandemic briefly. And first of all, I would like to express my respect and gratitude to the port-related workers who are the essential workers and dedicatedly carrying out their duties in each port around the world during the COVID-19 pandemic. Well, the COVID-19 pandemic has caused major disruptions in the global maritime container transport. Many dock workers and truck drivers were infected with the COVID-19, resulting in a slowdown in cargo handling and logistics. As a result, container ships were held up at ports, and in some cases, it took several days to start unloading after arrival. The percentage of container ships operating on time has dropped significantly. COVID-19 made people spend more time at home, and the demand for goods to be consumed at home has increased. That's why the volume of maritime container transport has also increased. There was a shortage of container ships around the world, and container freight rates has risen. Now, let's take a look at what happened in Japan. In order to cope with unstable supply chains, Japanese shippers avoided transshipment in other countries and realized the importance of core shipping routes that connect Japan directly with Europe and North America. In the case of transshipment in other countries, there is a higher risk of cancellation or reduction of shipping service due to city lockdowns. As a result, factories and stores have to hold more inventory. When the state of emergency was declared for the first time in Japan, some stores and factories suspended their operations, and imported containers were stored at container terminal for a long time, resulting in heavy congestion inside the container terminals. Looking at the labor situation at the port, it is inevitable to contact with people, such as meeting aboard the ship, the captain's signature, and obtaining necessary documents. COVID-19 pandemic gave us an opportunity by use of digital technology to make port cargo handling more remote and automated, and to computerize port procedures and information transmission, which will avoid human contact. Next, please. From here, I would like to introduce the environmental policy of ports in Japan. The basic policy is like this. In addition to responding appropriately to increasing diverse environmental issues, it is essential to recover as much as possible of natural environment that has been lost in the past, and to incorporate environment considerations into all functions of the port. And the considerations are like this: balancing the development and use of ports with the conservation, rehabilitation, and creation of the port environment. Today, I'd like to talk about 5 policies from now. Next, please. Firstly, the first policy is conservation, restoration, and creation of marine environment. In Japan, Tokyo and other large cities are located on the waterfront. In the sea area near the big cities and surrounded by land, the pollution load, such as nitrogen, is very high due to the flowing from urban areas. As a result, red tides and blue tides occur, and the number of creatures living in the bay has decreased. For this reason, projects to improve the water quality are underway in Tokyo Bay and Osaka Bay. Specifically, we are removing sludge, improving bottom sediment quality, and regenerate and create tidal flat and seagrass beds. We utilize the high-quality dredged sediment from the port construction work to cover the sludge or create a seagrass bed. In the coastal area of metropolitan areas, there are many seawalls of factories, and most of them are upright structures, which makes it difficult for many plants and creatures that live in the tidal zone. Therefore, by making the seawalls gently sloping and the port structure with seagrass beds or tidal flats, it is possible to expand the habitat of creatures. We have been promoting the development of port structures that can coexist with creatures through demonstration tests and formulation of guidelines. In these activities, it is important to have the understanding and activities of citizens. So we hold a symposium and conduct beach cleaning activities with local citizens and NPOs. Next, please. Next slide, please. Secondly, I would like to talk about prevention of marine pollution. Garbage and oil floating on the sea can hinder the safe navigation of ships and also lead to ocean pollution. As many typhoons hit Japan, garbage and driftwood flow into the sea from rivers due to heavy rainfall. In Japan, we have 12 marine environment maintenance vessels to collect floating garbage. In addition, in the event of a marine accident involving a ship, including a tanker carrying crude oil, a large amount of oil could be spilled into the sea. In preparation for such a big accident, Japanese government has 3 large oil recovery vessels. When a marine accident occurs, the nearest vessel can arrive at the accident site within 2 days, and we are ready to collect the oil quickly. Next, please. Next, I would like to talk about global warming countermeasures in ports against climate change. This year, the Japanese government has set a goal of reducing global warming emissions by 46% compared to 2013. In the future, we must strongly promote measures to combat global warming. In Japan, countermeasures to combat global warming in ports are linked to a shift in the industrial structure of waterfront areas. In the coastal areas, there are many oil refineries, thermal power plants, and steel mills that emit a lot of carbon dioxide. Japanese coastal area, including port area, are industrial hubs that account for about 60% of Japanese CO2 emissions are located. hydrogen is attracting attention as a next clean energy. We are thinking to make a port capable of importing, storing, and delivering large quantities of hydrogen stably and inexpensively. And we will upgrade the function of the port in consideration of decarbonization. Specifically, we will ease traffic congestion in front of container terminal gate by establishing a digital logistics system. We will also promote the introduction of shore port supply system to ships at anchor. We will also promote the use of fuel cell for cargo handling machinery and large vehicles entering and leaving ports. We will also promote measures to reduce carbon dioxide absorption. Have you ever heard of the term blue carbon? Blue carbon refers to the carbon that accumulates in marine ecosystems, such as coastal seagrass beds and shallow areas. The ocean absorbs more carbon dioxide emissions than the land. So it is important to revive lost seagrasses, create new ones, and preserve them appropriately. Next slide, please. Next, I would like to talk about formation of recycling-oriented society. Since Japan has a few mineral resources, so so-called 3Rs, reduce, reuse, and recycle are very important. Recycled resources don't need to be delivered in a hurry, unlike new products. Therefore, transportation cost can be lower by using ships to transport large quantities to areas where recycling plants are located. Therefore, in order to build a marine transportation network for recycled resources, we are providing support to ports that serve as a transportation basis. As a result, we can expect a concentration of recycling industries around the port. The wide area network of circulating resources is not limited to Japan, but is expanding into international circulation. Steel scrap is expected to be exported to Southeast Asia and South Asia due to economic development. Since the transportation distance is further, it is necessary to increase the amount of the scrap transported at the time to reduce transportation cost. For this reason, we are working on the development of a port to consolidate the scrap iron generated in Japan. Another issue is the promotion of the use of industrial byproducts. Steel mills located in coastal areas generate a large amount of steel slag in the manufacturing process. Many of these byproducts can be effectively used as raw materials for cement and civil engineering materials, including for construction works of port facilities. Even if we promote recycling, we will inevitably generate waste. So we are forced to dispose of our waste in landfills. The issue is where to dispose of the final waste, but it is difficult to secure a final disposal site on land in urbanized areas. For this reason, final disposal at sea area will be required in the future. and the role of waste disposal site at sea area is becoming important. For example, the ratio of offshore disposal sites of general waste is 99% in Tokyo and 19% in Osaka. Next, please. Finally, I'd like to talk about creation of enriched port space. It is also important to create an enriched port space, particularly in industrial areas where many factories are located. Citizens are not allowed to go near the area. In such areas, green spaces and parks are systematically arranged to provide places where the general public can approach the sea. There is also a need to respond to marine recreation. Marinas are being developed to provide convenient and comfortable services to users. On the other hand, as recreational activities using pleasure boats become more and more popular, various problems caused by abandoned boats have become apparent, such as obstruction to the navigation of other vessels and obstruction of the landscape and so on. So we are working to secure water areas that can accommodate small vessels and to strengthen the crackdown. That is all my presentation today. Thank you very much for your attention.